Joe, you had a season away, but you're back. You're back. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, we always like a season away every now and then, don't we? They're coming all too regular these days. Hopefully, we'll not have another one next season.
Well, it might be our turn next season. We'll
It
discuss
might
that.
be, yeah, it might be.
We'll just
You can have a season in the sun. I say in the sun, in the rain. That's what it feels like when you're in the Championship. Although it actually genuinely, like I know, obviously West Ham are a much bigger club, much more established, so going down would be much more, tougher for you. But when we went down the first time after being in the Prem for 8 years straight, genuinely the best season I ever had. The season after, following Burnley, and I've watched Burnley finish 7th. So it's not all doom and gloom when you're in the Championship, especially if you're doing well. But if you finish 17th, then yeah, that's doom and gloom.
Yeah. Anyway, your season so far, Joe. What do you make of it?
It's decent. Like I know people look at us and go, "Oh, they've not had such as good a start as Sunderland." I mean that's an anomaly to be fair. So you can't really compare anyone to that. Or like, the below Leeds as well. So they're the worst of the promoted three sides. When you look at who we played Man City away, Liverpool at home, Man United away, Spurs away, Villa away, Arsenal at home. We've had a tough start. So for us to be outside of the relegation zone, above the likes of yourselves, Forest and Wolves, who I think are gone. Although I saw a stat earlier that said they had 3 points this stage last season. Obviously, it still stayed up. So we'll see what happens there. But I do think they're gone. For us to be in the position that we are in, with the teams that we have played, I think is ahead of schedule for where we are at the minute. And we've beaten everyone that we've, apart from Forest, that we've played in and around us. So we've beaten Sunderland 2-0. Obviously, they're not in and around us, they're up in 4th, but they came up with us. We've beaten Leeds 2-0. We went to Wolves and won. Yes, all right, they've been god awful. And we picked up a point at home to Forest. So we're getting points against the teams that we not expect, because you can't expect in this league, but the points against the teams that we'd hope to get points against if you're going to stay up. Like we lost 2-0 against Arsenal at the weekend and we didn't even lay a glove on them. Don't really care. Our season isn't defined on that. Our season will be defined on the game on Saturday. Though. If we go to the London Stadium and lose 3-4-0 and you are comfortably better than us, then that is a massive worry. But obviously, fingers crossed it's not like that. And so far this season, we have given a good account of ourselves against the teams in and around us.
Former Hammer in charge of your club as well, Scott Parker. What do you make of him as manager?
I like him. I think he's done a great job. Obviously, as I've just said, currently outside the relegation zone, and that is literally the aim for this season. If we finish outside the relegation zone by 1 goal scored, that is job done. It doesn't matter if we have 15 0-0s in the process. Last season, again, we finished on 100 points. All right, we only finished second, but that's an anomaly, getting 100 points and not winning the league. Typical Burnley look that. Lost out on goal difference. So, yeah, he's done well. And when you look at last season and what he had to deal with, because he came in late summer, before the season had started, admittedly, but late in the summer break. And then he's sold a dream. We've got all these great players for the Championship. And then in the week before the transfer window closed, we just sold literally the entire team. Like anything that wasn't nailed down, we were selling it. We sold so many players. There was absolute uproar in the fan base. Like, what is this board doing? Like people accusing him of asset stripping and all that sort of stuff. Annoyingly, it was the week before we played Blackburn Rovers as well. So I was getting a little bit anxious because we haven't lost to Blackburn Rovers in like 15 years at this point. Well, no, I think it's 15 now. So it'd been about 14 then. So I'm like, we can't be throwing this away now. And then we just signed a whole new team. Again, it was just like the most chaotic week, just unnecessarily chaotic week. Like, what is this board doing? And obviously, Scott had to deal with all that, and he had to manage upwards. We lost at Sunderland during all this. Obviously, that's not the worst defeat in the world now when you look at it, because they came up with us. But at the time, we're thinking, that's not a great defeat. And then the week after, when we did play Blackburn, we drew at home against them. And I'm not just saying this because our rivals, but, they're not a great side. So drawing at home against Blackburn, especially when they had 10 men, wasn't a great look. But then he steadied the ship. Yes, we had a few boring games in there. Yes, we had a few 0-0s. There were some that are awful 0-0s away at Preston, away at Oxford, away at Derby, away at Portsmouth. There were some that were starting to grate on even me, and I'm the most patient of fans with stuff like this. But we were solid. We literally was the best defence the Championship has ever seen. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. That is literally the best defence the Championship has ever seen. He built a team on solidity. And then, yes, we weren't the most free-flowing attacking team in the world. And a lot of people compared it to the Vincent Kompany team from a couple of seasons prior to that. So a lot of Burnley fans are, it's too negative, it's too boring. But I personally do not care one hell whether we are entertaining to watch or not. I just want us to do well as a football club. If we do well as a football club and we play well, it's an added bonus, as I said earlier. my favourite ever season following Burnley was the championship winning season under Vincent Kompany, and I've seen us finish 7th under Sean Dyche, and it was good because we were tanking everyone week in, week out, playing great football. But if we finish 17th, drawing 15 games 0-0, and winning 4 or 5 1-0, I will not care. I go to the turf and to away games to watch Burnley do well, not to be entertained. So it's a luxury. If you can do well in the Premier League and play good football, it's a luxury. But I think clubs like Burnley at the minute, in the position that we're in now, just need to stay up. And hopefully I think Scott is the right man at the minute to do that.
Do you know what would make this video even better? If you're enjoying it with a beer. But not just any beer. A free beer. But fortunately, we're on hand to help with that, because all you got to do is go claim your free case of beer and pay the postage, which is £5.95. Sit back and relax, and Beer 52 will send you 8 delicious beers for you to try. But not only do you get 8 delicious beers, you also get 2 packs of snacks. And the latest Ferment magazine as well. Now, if you fancy a little bit of that, of course you do. Why wouldn't you? It's free beer. Go to beer52.com. That's beer52.com/hammers. The link's in the description below and the pinned comments as well. And once you're on the page, just click to claim your free case. Select if you want mixed beers or light beers. Pay the postage. Sit back, relax. And next time you're watching a Hammers Chat video or West Ham United, you can enjoy it with one of your delicious 8 free beers. Cheers. So Scott Parker gets a tick. What about
from me?
What about the squad? Do you give that a tick as well? Is it good enough to be in the Premier League?
From what I've seen so far, yeah. Genuinely, at the start of the season, my prediction was we'd go down, along with Leeds and Sunderland. But then, no way Sunderland go down now. I'm not even looking at their results anymore. When I check the results, I'm not looking. I don't care. Like, fair play to him, but I'm not. I only care like what affects Burnley. We're better than Wolves. I say we're better than Wolves. If you look at the Wolves squad on paper and look at our squad on paper, you'd probably argue that they have better players. But they're just so disjointed at the minute. I feel like we're better than them. The same goes to yourselves at the minute. Again, you look at your team on paper, that midfield, I love some of your players. Obviously, Paqueta, and I know he can be frustrating for your fan base, but I like him. Obviously, Bowen as well, and Somerville, fantastic player. All 3 of them would be the best player in our squad if they walked into it. But again, you just at the minute look a little bit disjointed. Although you didn't, knowing our look, that's where you clicked against Newcastle. You did look really good against Newcastle. Leeds have got issues. They can't score goals. I think our midfield's better than theirs. I think our defence is probably on a par with theirs. I think our fullbacks are probably better than theirs. So yeah, I think our squad, if we get a bit of rub of the green, and obviously we have some teams that, like yourselves and Wolves, who do have better players that can't really get going, a bit of luck in that sense. And I'm going to say, and you fall down. I actually don't think West Ham will go, but I do think Wolves will. I think Forest are in big trouble. I know they've got Sean Dyche, and everyone keeps going on about how he's one of the managers to get you out of it. And again, you look at their squad on paper and our squad on paper, they've got a better squad on paper, but there's just something about them at the minute where they can't get going. And Dyche isn't really the type. Dyche will get a poor squad battling, but I think Dyche has got a good squad there who can play decent football, decent counter-attacking football. I'm not sure he's the right man for that. Counter-attacking is easier for Sean Dyche than free-flowing attacking football, because then he can sit back and use the likes of Give White or whatever to push forward. So it might work for that. I'm very frustrated with Sunderland's start, because I did have them obviously as one of the teams that could finish below us. I'm very frustrated with the way that Brentford have pulled away, because again, I had them as one of the teams that finished below us. So it is starting to get a little bit tight already, and we're only in November. So if this is your clicking point against Newcastle, for example, then that's another team that pulls away, and then you start to think, if Forest then start pulling away, then it's starting to look bleak. But I think at the minute the squad just about can have enough if we're battling and we get the rub of the green. But like I said, I am more than happy to admit that there are some squads underneath, well, all of the squads that are underneath us at the minute, to be fair, that if you put our squad on paper next to theirs on paper, you would probably argue they have better individual players, but at the minute it's just not working for them.
Yeah, it is difficult when you're in the bottom part, because you look at other teams and you almost try and find reasons why they'll be okay, whereas you might look at your own team and try and find reasons why you won't be okay. You almost convince yourself that you're going to go down. Maybe not you. I'm sensing a bit of optimism from you, but we'll go on to that in a second. But you also have a tendency to ignore other teams and what they're doing. So Everton, for example, have won 1 in 7. That's not good form at all. But you just ignore them. You go, but they'll be all right. In Fulham won last weekend against Wolves, but before that, they lost 4 in a row. So again, you're like, but they'll be all right. Why? Well, it's Fulham. It's Marco Silva. They'll be okay. But even though factually there's stuff saying, hang on a minute, maybe they're not quite as good as you expect. You just have a tendency to be biased against your own club sometimes, and you just
Yeah.
ignore what the information is telling you. I mean, I had a look at the league table, came up after Man City Bournemouth on Sunday, and I thought, okay, so if we beat Burnley, we're on 10 points, and if Everton lose, I mean, they did get a point against Sunderland, so they'll be on 12 points now. So I thought, okay, at that time, I'll be like, okay, so we'll be 1 point behind Everton, we'll be 1 point behind Fulham, but obviously they play each other, so it's impossible. But my point is, we're not far away from Everton and Fulham if we beat you at the weekend. And likewise for you,
Yeah.
if you beat us, you can go above some of those teams. So it is difficult, like what it does to you as a fan, your mentality. I think you can almost be guilty of overrating some teams as well as underrating your own team. Apart from
Yeah.
Wolves, everyone thinks they're crap. your, your season expectations, before the season, you thought you'd go down. But I'm detecting a hint of belief now that you might stay up. I don't want to say it's expectation you'll stay up, but you certainly feel like you think you'll manage it maybe.
Right now, I'm leaning towards staying up. Right now. But you know what it's like. You've just said there, a football fan, you're always looking for reasons as to why that pendulum will swing another way. If we lose at the London Stadium on Saturday, I'll genuinely be like, that's West Ham away. West Ham are going to pull away now. That's another team gone. So then I'll start thinking,
even though we'll be on equal points.
Yeah, because you'll have won 2 games in a row. See what I mean? Again, that's my pessimism. I'm going to ask you what the opposite word of optimism was then. Like an idiot. I've had a blow to the head, so if I get anything wrong, you can understand it. That's my pessimism coming out. Because I'm like, well, they've won 2 games in a row, they'll pull away now. They've got better players than us. They've got a good manager, they'll pull away. That it's West Ham, the bigger club, they'll pull away. That's just what it is. But yes, I understand your point of it. We will not be relegated if we lose. Nobody's relegated on the 8th of November except Wolves. They're already gone. But nobody's relegated for losing a game on the 8th of November. But in my head at that point, I'll be like, wow, this is it. Like, there's no way we can recover from this. But obviously, we've still got to play Wolves at home, yourselves at home, Leeds away, Sunderland away throughout the course of the season, Brentford twice, so Fulham twice. So there's obviously chances to pick up more points, even if we do lose. But yeah, the reason why at this very particular moment now, before the match, is why I am confident, is what I said earlier in the show. We've played 4 teams in and around us, beaten 3 of them, drawn against 1 of them. So if we continue that form for the rest of the season, we will be okay because we will beat the teams in and around us. So obviously they will not be picking up points against us. We will pull away and we will eventually be okay. And anything we get against the other mid-table teams or the top 6 teams, there's something about Burnley. We never get anything against the top 6 teams, not anymore anyway. But we obviously under the Dyche days, we'd have the odd upset. We won at Old Trafford, won at Liverpool, won at Emirates, we've won everywhere. But for some reason, we don't tend to do it. Under Company, we'd be 3-0 down after 15 minutes. And under Scott Parker, we show them far too much respect, just sit back. And then eventually they just beat us, which is what Arsenal did on the weekend. So anything else against the other teams, like your Palaces, your Brightons and stuff like that, is then a bonus. But at the minute, because we are beating the teams in and around us, I am leaning more towards staying up. And it's good that Wolves are awful because, with all due respect to Wolves, I do quite like Wolves, and I like a lot of the Wolves channels. Obviously, Talking Wolves, them sort of stuff run by Dave. He's a great lad, but I just think they're awful at the minute. They are really, really bad. It obviously depends who the employer's manager, but I still they're so far behind now, and they need a 16-point swing just to catch Burnley. That at this stage of the season, that is insane. I know they did it last year. Excuse me. I know they did it last year. But the 3 promoted teams last year were that awful, it were easier for them to do it.
Yeah.
The 3 promoted teams this season are decent, and therefore the points total that you're going to need to stay up is going to be higher than what it has been in previous seasons. And I think that's going to stretch too far for Wolves. And then it's any one of 2 from ourselves, yourselves, Leeds, some of the other teams you mentioned already as well. Obviously, Forest, Fulham. I still think Brentford get pulled into it. I just wish Brentford annoy me because I look at their team and they're like, is anyone really there that good? Is Keith Andrews that good of a manager? But then they just launch it into the box with a long throw and it's 1-0. You're like, fair enough. You play to your strengths. Like, I'm not knocking that in any way, shape or form, but it is frustrating. But yeah, there's a few teams in and around us, and dare I even say Newcastle as well. I know they're not going to go down, but it's just fun to say them because they just keep losing and keep getting closer and closer.
Yeah, the thing with Wolves as well, I don't have confidence in them hiring a good manager. I think they'll get the appointment wrong. They've almost written off Saturday against Chelsea. They've thought, oh, well, we're not going to get someone in. And you can't really afford to write games off when you're down the bottom of the table, especially, I say this far in, we're only 10 games in, but
like you said, the point swing is so much.
Yeah. So if you're going to be on 2 points after 11 games, good luck, because you are really far behind where you need to be. And it feels like they're writing it off. And it also feels like they're struggling. I mean, the fact that they even went back to Gary O'Neill says they don't really have a clue as to what they're doing. They've sacked Pereira without really much of a plan. It was almost like, well, we need to do something. We're not leaving, so we'll sack him. All right, who are we going to hire? Don't know yet. What about Gary O'Neill? Because apparently he's still on gardening leave, so Wolves are still paying him weekly. So it'd be a case of, do that contract? It's the same one. Just come back. Like you're just back off gardening leave, really.
Yeah.
But even he doesn't want to go back. He's pulled out the race. So even. And
the fact that they give Pereira a new contract like 3 weeks before they sacked him or whatever it was, and they did the same with Gary O'Neill. All right, it's different with Gary O'Neill because he did it at the end of the season in the summer break, so you can kind of understand. Excuse me, but I look at them and I just scream, "Back mental, crazy owners that haven't got a clue what they're doing." I have no confidence at all that Wolves will stay up. None whatsoever.
Completely agree. So we've got one team agreed between us. There's still 2 more spaces. Before we discuss that very quickly, you've already touched on this, but what's your thoughts on West Ham?
I like West Ham, good club. It'll be strange to see you in the Championship if you do go down. I know it's happened before. We had good battles back in the day in the Championship. I remember drawing 2-2 down at Upton Park. I think you went 1-0 up and then we pulled it back. I think we might have even gone. I can't remember, but it were a good game anyway. And I used to enjoy going down to West Ham and stuff. Not so much now because I don't like your stadium. So I do sometimes when we play West Ham. I'm like, I'm not going all that way to sit all that far back, barely see I don't know how you guys cope with that stadium. Completely get the frustrations that you guys have with the owners. And I know it's a lot more to do with the stadium, but I feel like that's when it all started. And then it's just boiled over. And obviously the famous game against Burnley where you all went mental, ran on the pitch, stole corner flags. So, yeah, completely understand your frustrations. But I like West Ham. They're a good club. Like I said, if you do go down, I think ultimately you'll pull away. Saturday's massive. If we beat you on Saturday, then I will start thinking maybe West Ham are the second team. But, yeah, it will be strange. I do think you'll get away. I look at them 3 players I mentioned earlier, Bowen, Paqueta and Somerville, like a team with them 3 in it, surely does not get relegated. And if they do, then there's something seriously wrong with the management and obviously the board as well, which I think you guys already know there's something seriously wrong with the board.
Yeah. When we were speaking earlier about perspective of other clubs, because you look through that sort of biased prism, when West Ham hired Nuno, what was your thoughts?
I thought it was a good appointment because he did well at Forest, he did well at Wolves. He's done well where he's gone. I know eventually he got sacked by both clubs, but I know this is going to be the 3rd time I've used this word on a podcast already. This is probably going to be a world record. I don't think anybody's used the word anomaly 3 times on a podcast. Like you can't use Marinakos sacking somebody, again, another back mental crazy owner, as an excuse like, oh, he's a poor manager. He's not. He got Forest back into Europe for the first time since, the 80s? And then 2 or 3 games into the season, whenever it was, this new owner sacks him. It's just mental. So it was a perfect opportunity for a club like West Ham to be like, well, he's a good manager. This is our chance now to get a good manager. So I think doing that was the right thing. I feel like Potter, I don't rate Potter at all. I spoke to another West Ham fan earlier this week and he was saying he's completely overrated. I don't understand how he's still getting jobs. Completely agree. Did well at Brighton. That's literally it. I know he's done well in Sweden as well, was it? Or something like that. But I mean, there's a complete, not to disrespect any other European leagues, but to go from Brighton to Chelsea, such a huge jump. So the expectations are different, the pressures are different. So it's completely different. And again, West Ham, it's so much different to Brighton. Yes, Brighton have been over the last 5 years a more well-run club, a more successful club, if you will, even though they haven't actually won anything, just finishing high. Well, obviously I forgot your European trophy run, to be fair. The last 2 years then. But at the minute they are better than West Ham. But again, the size of the difference in size of the clubs is just astronomical. That the pressures of West Ham and the expectations are so much different to what they are at Brighton. So I completely agree. I think he was overrated, and I didn't really rate him when you brought him in. I feel like sacking him was the right thing to do. If anything, I'd have never employed him. But I like Nuno. I think he's a good coach. I think he's done well, and that's another reason why I think you will eventually pull away. I think he did the same with Wolves. Obviously, I think he got Wolves promoted and then kept them up. And then got them into Europe, got Forest into Europe. So, yeah, he's a good manager. And I think that if you give him time, which I think you will, obviously, I know your owners can be a bit mental, but But if you give him time, and obviously he's going to need patience from the fans as well, which at the minute I feel like he will get, because the fans are more aiming their anger and impatience towards the board rather than the manager.
Yeah.
It's just whether it then creates a cauldron and like in an environment that he can't work in, that might be the only effect that has on him. But yeah, I think he's a good manager, good coach. I think you've done right to employ him. I think someone like him or Sean Dyche would have been, the perfect sort of like firefighting managers for now. But I feel like Nuno can get you out of this and then progress you as a club. Whereas I feel like Dyche, even though he did it for us, he struggled at Everton. Yes, he got them out of the relegation battle, but he then couldn't progress them as a club. So I feel like he'll probably do the same with Forest. He'll make sure they're safe, and then it won't progress them as to what Nuno had them at last time. So yeah, I think it's a good appointment personally.
Yeah, I agree. Saturday then. Do you label this as a must-win? I know you've said if we beat West Ham, but are you going to say that this is a must-win for Burnley, or is it a must-not-lose?
Yeah, must not lose. I don't think there is such a thing as a must-win in November, unless you Wolves. I think for you, it's. I know West Ham fans will be telling me to shut up. It is definitely a must-win, and you'll probably think the same yourself, obviously, because you need to get back on level on points with us. To be fair, but if we go down there and draw, it's not the end of the world for yourselves. You're still only within 3 points of us. Excuse me. I mean, I don't know what your fixtures are after it, to be fair. You could be playing, the most ridiculous run.
But, well, after the international break, we played Liverpool, Bournemouth, Brighton, Man U, and Aston Villa.
Yeah, maybe then. That's a tough one, that, isn't it? Thanks for that. That's given me more confidence as well, mate. Thank you. Not for Saturday, but for the weeks leading up to Christmas. It's definitely must not lose to Burnley. You might be leaning more towards must win them for West Ham, but again, like if you draw against us, you're not dead and buried. You're not down. You're not like, oh my god, this is so bleak. It's just not ideal. But yeah, for Burnley, it's just must not lose. And if we do lose, like you said, unless you beat us 3-0, we'll still be above you. I think that's right.
I think if we win, if we win by 2, if we win 2-0, everything's the same. Even the goal difference in goals scored, so we go above you on head to head.
Okay, right. That's annoying. I thought it was alphabetical order. But yeah, in fact, you might be right, and this is awful listening for the viewers, but I was under the impression that head-to-head didn't come in until the end of the season. That makes sense.
Well, I didn't think so either. But I said on we did a video the other day, and I said we'd be behind you on alphabetical order, and someone messaged me and said no, it's head-to-head. And I thought, well, that would make more sense because
it would make more sense to be fair. I thought that didn't come into play until the end of the season. So, but again, we obviously don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it would be rough using head-to-head when we've only played one of the 2 games, so it would make sense. Who knows? Don't know. If it's 2-0 West Ham, we're going to find out when the league table comes up as to how they do it.
Yeah. We'll see. Fingers crossed it is at 2-0 West Ham, and we forever just don't know about this, and we don't know what the mystery is. But yeah,
everyone's Googling it. All the listeners right now are Googling it, saying, how do you decide who goes above the other one? So you might be 17th on alphabetical order. If
that was possible at the end of the season, say if everything was the same and even the head-to-head was 1-1 in both games, if we stayed up because our team began with B, I'd love it. But obviously, if that scenario, there'll probably be like a one-off game, wouldn't there? You can't survive someone in the richest league in the world and essentially give someone 200 million quid because your name begins with B. Or we'll just everybody do what Bournemouth would do and just call ourselves AFC.
To be fair, even head-to-head feels a bit harsh as well at the end of the season. I feel like it would, if hypothetically 17th and 18th finished on the same point, same goals scored, same goals conceded, I think a final would be the best thing at that playoff. It's like 2 weeks' time, you're playing each other at Wembley, and one of you are going down. It's like the reverse of a playoff final. That would be fantastic.
I'm sure if the Premier League could find a way to spin some money, they'll do it. So if that is the case, they'll probably throw the rulebook out the window and be like, right, playoff game. Can we not have it at Wembley though if it's between Burnley and West Ham? Because it's like a 5-minute drive for you. All right, I'm exaggerating. But and it's like the arse end of country for us. We can have it at Villa Park or something.
Yeah, we'll go Villa Park. We'll go there. Keep it clad in blue for both teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point as well. That'll be nice and topical, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So Saturday then, how do you see it going? Give us your prediction.
I'm going 1-1. I think we'll be tough to break down. Thing is, right, what it is with Burnley this season, when we play 5 at the back, we look a little bit poor. We look a little bit disjointed. We are obviously sitting back with 5 at the back. And the plan is to try and soak up the pressure and counter-attack teams. But we only tend to do that against the bigger clubs. Hence why, well, I say big, I mean like the top 6 clubs.
Yeah.
So obviously we did it at home to Liverpool, and to be fair, it nearly worked. The flip side of that is Liverpool did miss some chances, to be fair. If they'd have put them to sleep, put them to bed, the game would have been put to sleep earlier on. It nearly worked at Old Trafford because they got a last-minute penalty as well, just like Liverpool did. But then you could argue it didn't really work at Old Trafford because they'd already scored twice. And it didn't work at Spurs. We got spanked 3-0. It didn't work against Arsenal because they just set pieces to death. And then obviously it didn't work at Villa Park as well because they were just so much better than us. But when we play teams in and around us, we do play a little bit more on the front foot. We do play a little bit more attacking, and that's when we have looked our best. So I think we play 4 at the back. I think we play like 4-2-3-1. And not go for you because it's not Burnley or Scott Parker's way to play football, but be a little bit more adventurous than what we are against the bigger teams. And I think that will help us because I think we are a better side when we do that. And we have better defenders as well because Scott Parker, for some reason, like the only criticism I have of him is when he plays his 5 at the back, number 1, nobody likes it, stop doing it. And number 2, he plays a defensive midfielder who I like Josh Loren. Seems a good guy. But he's a defensive midfielder. We signed him for £500,000 from Stoke. And then every now and then, Scott Parker, when he plays his 5 at the back, he puts him at centre-back, one of the 3 centre-backs. It's like you're a £500,000 player from Stoke playing against Saka, playing against Mo Salah. Like, can we stop doing that? It just doesn't make any sense. So we have Maxime Estevan, either Tuanzebe or Ekdal at centre-back, who are out-and-out centre-back. So we even though there's one less player in there, we actually look stronger. Yeah. And I think we'll do that against you. And I think it's going to be a good game. And I know I'm probably going to get splinters on my arse a little bit here by saying 1-1, but I think it'll probably get to the stage where it's hopefully, from a Burnley perspective, like 1-1 in the 70th minute, and we just sort of like revert to type, and then you kind of like step onto us, and then we can keep you out in that sense. But don't know, that does worry me slightly if it is 1-1 and you're just attacking us, and it's like, just constant. Then the crowd will be able to essentially suck it into the back of the net, but. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, from a Burnley perspective, that isn't the case. But we scored 3 at Wolves. I mean, that's Wolves. You're obviously a better side than Wolves. So fingers crossed we can do it again. But I'd be astounded if we scored 3 again.
Most underrated goal of the season was you scored at Wolves as well. Fleming's goal, that volley. It's not got the plaudits it deserves. If that
Haaland, Salah, literally,
constantly.
There'd be posters. Sky posters out on billboards about that goal. It reminded me a lot of the Van Persie goal against Aston Villa when they were playing for Man United. Admittedly, the Van Persie goal is better because it's like the way he shapes his body, but it's a long ball coming. Well, I hate that term. A long pass coming over his shoulder. He watches it all the way, never takes his eye off it, and just side puts it into the back of the net. When he hits it, I'm like, what's he doing? But then because the keeper's sort of like not expecting him to do it. This is awful listening to your viewers, but because the keeper's not expecting him to do it, he's going the other way, and then it catches the keeper off guard. It's such a good finish.
Yeah, I think that's what's preventing it getting applauded. It's because Sam Johnson's made such a big error, really. It's almost gone down as a goalkeeping error rather than a fantastic strike. But I think that's what makes it fun to know that the keeper's done that and where the keeper's going to, and to anticipate the keeper's behaviour and to offset it essentially with how you control that shot, because he went for pure placement. He didn't rifle it. There was no laces through his side footed just into that far corner from quite some distance as well. I just didn't. When I seen it, I thought, because normally you would hear things like, I heard Barry Bannon scored a fantastic goal for Sheffield Wednesday before I seen it during the week, and it was a fantastic goal. I heard Mickey van der Ven had scored a solo goal for Spurs against Copenhagen before I seen it. Yeah. So normally you hear about it before you witness it. But with Fleming, I was watching the highlights. I thought, bloody hell, what a goal. I thought, why have I not even heard about this, right? I knew he scored. I seen he scored, but I hadn't heard anything about, wow, what a goal. There was just nothing. There was no press for it whatsoever. And since seeing the highlights, I've seen nothing about it either. What's the most underrated goal I've seen in a long time?
Burnley fan, mate. Even when we finished 7th, didn't get the plaudits we deserve. It's barely even like Wolves finished 7th the year after. Everyone's like, oh, Wolves, bloody hell, amazing. It's like, hold on, we did that last season. We're probably just about a smaller club than Wolves. Like, we had less of a budget. Wolves were signing all these Portuguese players on high wages. We had Sean Dyche. We had Dale Stevens in midfield, and we finished 7th in the Premier League. So we deserved a lot of plaudits for that. But as Burnley fans now, we're used to it. We never get the plaudits we deserve, mate. And it's just something
you get the plaudits. You get the plaudits here on Hammers Chat, don't you, mate? Unfortunately, we don't make much difference, but we do our best. But Joe, from Podcast. Thank you very much. Pleasure as always. If you guys would like to check out more content from Joe, I'll put all the links in the description below. But Joe, thank you very much. We'll catch up later in the season ahead of the game against Turkey, which could and very possibly will be a very big game. You might not feel like it's a 6-pointer now, but I think later in the season there's a good chance that it's going to feel like quite a big game for both teams. But you guys at home have enjoyed it. Please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up on the video. Scouting Hammers, chat myself and Joe. Catch you in a bit.